Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Govinda.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna dear devotees, welcome to today's Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 14, the childhood pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 52. So we were reading, Mahaprabhu has got a little older now, so he would go to others' homes and he would play with other boys, he would pick up fights with them, and then he would go to the neighbors' homes and steal whatever food items there are, or he would steal rice, he would drink milk, and if he didn't find anything, what would he do? If he didn't find anything to eat in a particular home, what would the Lord do?
He would break the pots.
No.
Oh,
There's
babies. He would torture the babies.
torture. He would tease the baby. He would tease
Yeah, I
the
mean, by
baby.
putting water in the ear.
Yeah. So then, then the boys would also be with him, and then when they would fight with the Lord, and they would come and they would complain to Sachimata, and they would say, Nimai fights with us all the time, and then he goes and steals from the neighbors' homes, and he makes their babies cry also. So Sachimata would chastise Nimai, and she would say, why you go to others' homes? Why you fight with other boys? And why you steal their food? What is lacking in your own house that you have to go to others' homes? And when she would chastise like this, Nimai would get angry and he would just go into another room angrily, right? And then he would break pots there angrily. So when he would do that, then Sachimata would come and pick him up, put him in her lap, and pacify him. And then Nimai would feel embarrassed of his activities and he would admit that he was at fault like that. And then now he's growing a little older with the boys. Now he goes to Ganga to bathe, and there other girls also would come to do puja of different demigods to get a good husband like that. And Nimai would go and sit between the girls and he would say, give all offerings to me. Your goddess Ganga, goddess Parvati, Lord Shiva, they're all my servants. So whatever benedictions you want, I will give you. I'll give you a good husband. Just give all your offerings to me. And when they wouldn't give, he would snatch the food items and he would just eat them. So, and also in the purport, we read how Srila Prabhupada is saying, we don't encourage demigod worship in our movement because Krishna himself didn't encourage, right? What did Krishna say? Kamaistaistai hritagyana prapadyantenya devata. And then what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't appreciate worshipping demigods. He said, you worship me. No need to worship them. So then, being their servant, how I can say that you can worship demigods? So therefore, we also don't allow worshipping demigods in our temples. Srila Prabhupada said. So now we'll continue from there. Text 52. So now Mahaprabhu, Nimai, he would take away all the food items from the girls? He would snatch and he would eat. So what would the girls do? Kurodhe kanya gana kohe shuno he nimai ग्राम संबंधे हऊ तुमी आमा सबार भाई. Isha.
All the girls became very angry at the Lord for his behavior. Dear Nimai, they told him, you are just like our brother in our village relationship.
Yes. So the girls were like, what did it say? They were like 12 years old or something. Anyway, little girls. So they would say, Nimai, in village relationship, you are like our brother. Okay. And they became angry when the Lord would just take all the, worship paraphernalia that they brought to worship Lord Shiva. They would become angry. And then they would tell him, what would they say? You are just like our brother in our village relationship. Ama sabakara pakshe iha korite na yuyai. Na loho devata sajja na koro anyai. Krishna, your turn.
Therefore, it does not behoove you to act like this. Don't take our paraphernalia for worship of the demigods. Don't create a disturbance in this way.
Yeah. So you are like our brother. So you should not disturb our worship of the demigods. Don't take away our paraphernalia and disturb. You should not do that because you are just like our brother. प्रभु को है तोमा सबा के दिलो एही वर तोमा सबार भरता होबे परम सुंदर. So what did Nimai say, Madhava?
The Lord replied, my dear sisters, I give you the benediction that your husbands will be very handsome.
Yes. So, yes, I'm giving you, my dear sisters, because they said you're like our brother. So Nimai is saying, my dear sisters, I give you the benediction that your husbands will be very handsome. Because I took all your offerings, right? You gave me your offerings. So I'm very happy. I'm giving you a benediction that your husbands you'll get very handsome husbands. Pandita vidagda yuva dhana dhanyavan sata sata putra hobe chirayu matiman. What else? Rasapriya.
They will be learned, clever, and young, and possess abundant wealth and rights. Not only that, but you will each have 7 sons, who will all live long lives and be very intelligent.
Yes, not only will your husbands be very handsome to look at, they will be very learned. They will be very learned, very intelligent, very clever, and they will be young and strong, and also they will have abundant wealth and rice. And not only that, each one of you will have 7 sons. By the way, women become happy when they have a lot of children. At least in the Vedic society, like when someone has to bless a girl, they would bless, or a newly married lady, the elders will bless. May Krishna bless you with 100 sons. That is in bygone days. Even I got that benediction once by a Prabhupada disciple, Harishori Prabhu. He was visiting New Vrindavan, and then he said, may Krishna bless you with 10 sons. He said, I would have said 100 sons, but because now it's a different age, 100 may be too many. So may Krishna bless you. So anyway, Priyanka Mataji.
Mataji, I also got this blessing from Srila Prabhupada disciple only. His grace, Vasu Ghosh Prabhu, who
Yes.
stayed here, he blessed me.
So
with
I'm
hundreds, not hundreds, like many sons, he said.
many
like that.
sons, yeah. So yeah, I was just quoting this because that's the benediction in the Shastra. So to have many sons is considered, or many children, right? To have many children, many sons, that is a good blessing. So like that, Nimai is saying that may, no, each one of you, he's only blessing. He's not saying that may Lord the bless you. He's saying, I'm blessing you. That each of you will have 7 sons. And not only do you have 7 sons and maybe some will die, some will remain. No, they will all live long lives and they will be very intelligent. So you'll have a lot of wealth, you'll have a handsome husband, you will be young and strong and intelligent, lot of wealth and many sons, right? Whatever a person would want in this material world, right? All types of opulences, facilities you'll have. Purport. So after Rasapriya, Priyanka Mataji, right? I think. Yes, Mataji. First paragraph.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Generally, it is the ambition of a young girl to have a very handsome husband who is learned, clever, young, and rich. According to the Vedic culture, one is rich if he possesses a large stock of food grain and a very large number of animals. Dhanyena dhanavan, gavya
Gavaya.
Gavaya dhanavan. Just a second, Mataji. Wherein one is rich if he possesses food grain, cows, and birds. A girl also desires to have many children, especially sons, putra, who are very intelligent and long lived. Now, because society has deteriorated, there is propaganda to have one or two children and kill the rest by contraceptive methods. But the natural ambition of a girl is to possess not only more than one child, but at least half a dozen.
At least half a dozen, Prabhupada says. Okay, yeah, one more important point is that what is real wealth? When you have a stock of food grain, that is the sign of a rich person. It's not about having paper money, right? It's the wealth is in food grain and in cows. So that's what Nand Maharaj had, right? Cows, when you have cows, you'll have milk, you have ghee, you have yogurt, and you have so many milk sweets. That's the wealth. Okay, next paragraph. Achinta Dev Prabhu. Are you able to read Prabhuji? Achinta Dev Prabhu? Arunita, Aditi
Mataji,
Lata.
yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All praise to Srila Prabhupada.
Please
In
accept my humble
exchange,
obeisance.
in exchange for the paraphernalia of worship, he asserted for himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to bless the girls to fulfill all their ambitions and desires. One can easily become happy and obtain the material benefits of a good husband, wealth, food grain, and a number of nice children by worshipping Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyasa at an early age, it is not necessary for his devotees to follow him by also taking sannyasa. One can stay a householder, but one must be a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then one, then one will be happy with all the material opulences of a good home, good children, good maid, good wealth, and everything he desires. Therefore, the Shastras advise Yagyai Sankirtana Prayai Yajanti Hi Sumedhasa. Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Every householder, therefore, who is actually intelligent should introduce the Sankirtan movement home to home and live peacefully in this life and go back to Godhead in the next. Thank you,
So
Mataji.
nice, huh? Yeah. So Mahaprabhu is blessing them because he took their offerings. And that's why we saw, Srila Prabhupada said, how much mercy. The Lord does not accept, he doesn't need anything. But if he's taking and he's eating, that means also Srila Prabhupada says in another class, he says that if Krishna accepts your offering once, you will not have anything lacking in your life. You won't lack anything else in your life. If Krishna just accepts your offering, if he eats it once. So here they didn't want to give, still he snatched and he ate. How dear they must be to the Lord that he snatched and he ate from them. And not only that, now they were worshipping the demigods to get a good husband. So in exchange for that, he's saying you'll get everything. And Srila Prabhupada is telling us it's not required to take sannyas. You can be a householder, but the condition is you must be a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So devotee means now all the other conditions apply for a devotee, right? So if you must be a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then what is not available, right? If you become a devotee of the Lord, akama sarva kamova, whatever desires you may have, they'll all be fulfilled. So, and then you'll get everything, good home, good children, good spouse, wealth, and then you'll also go back to Godhead. Next. Varashuni Kanya Ganera Antare Santosha Bahire Bhatsana Kore Kori Mithya Rosha. So Arunita Arunita can read the translation and purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hearing this benediction from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the girls were inwardly very happy, but externally, as is natural for girls, they rebuked the Lord under the pretense of anger. But this double dealing is natural for girls. When they are satisfied within, they externally show dissatisfaction. Such feminine dealings are very palatable to boys who try to make friendships with them. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada, very interesting. So actually everything is there in Krishna consciousness, right? One who is Krishna conscious, he doesn't lack any knowledge, because one who knows Krishna, what does he not know? Everything is coming from Krishna only. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, actually first Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, when Mahaprabhu said that, because he snatched, right? They didn't want to give, but he snatched. So they were angry with him, that they said you should not do this, right? And then Mahaprabhu said you'll get a good husband. So whatever they were going to ask from Lord Shiva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said you'll get everything and more, right? Whatever a girl might desire, you'll get. So they were very happy to get this benediction, but still externally they were showing their anger, right? Externally they were showing anger, inwardly they were very happy, and they rebuked the Lord. They were angry externally, they were pretending, feigning anger, and they rebuked the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada is saying such double dealing is natural for girls, right? To be happy inside, and when you're happy inside, you show anger outside. This is natural. And this type of behavior is actually very pleasing to boys. So, like we see in Krishna's dealings with the gopis also, right? So, why they become angry? Because it pleases Krishna. That's why they become angry. So when they are, and this is the nature of the girls, Prabhupada is saying, when they are satisfied within, they show dissatisfaction externally. These are feminine dealings, and they are very palatable to boys who try to make friendships with them. Next. Kono kanya palaila naivedya loiya tare daki kohe prabhu sakrodha hoiya. Okay, so Prabhuji is there.
Yes, Mataji, I can read. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. When some of the girls fled, the Lord called them in anger and advised them as follows. Thank you.
Thank you. So some girls who were there, he just snatched and he ate. But some of them, seeing that he's snatching, they ran away with their offerings because they didn't want to give. So those who were running away, the Lord called them in anger. He called them and then he advised as follows. What did he say to them? Those who are not giving their offerings and running away from him. Jadi naivedya na deho hoya kripani buda bhatta hobe ar chari chari satini. Chatterjee Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
If you are miserly and do not give me the offerings, every one of you will have an old husband with at least 4 co-wives.
Yeah. So Hare Krishna. If you run away with the offerings, other girls, he said, each one of you will have a nice husband, so much wealth. He'll be very intelligent and very handsome. You'll have 7 sons and everything. You want nice house. But those who are running away, he said, every one of you will have an old husband with at least 4 co-wives. That means he's very old in age and he will already have 4 wives and you'll be the 5th wife. You'll get such husbands if you don't give the offerings and run away from me. Okay, so shall we do another round? Or okay, Isha, read the first paragraph.
In India, in those days, and even until 50 years ago, polygamy was freely allowed. Any man, especially of the higher castes, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, and particularly the Kshatriyas, could marry more than one wife. In the Mahabharata, or the older history of India, we see that Kshatriya kings especially used to marry many wives. According to Vedic civilization, there was no restriction against this, and even a man more than 50 years old could marry. But to be married to a man who had many wives was not a very pleasant situation, because the husband's love would be divided among his many wives. To punish the girls unwilling to offer him the Naivedya, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu apparently wanted to curse them to be married to men who had at least 4 wives.
Yes. So Srila Prabhupada is saying in India in those days, and even until 50 years ago, so it's not happening now for sure, but until 50 years ago means 1920s, right? When Srila Prabhupada was writing this, he said 50 years ago. So in the 20s, 1920s, polygamy was freely allowed. Polygamy means one man having more than one wife. It was not illegal for a man to have more than one wife. So any man, especially of the higher castes, right? The Dvijas, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, and particularly the Kshatriyas. We see even in Mahabharata, right? Kshatriya kings having many wives. So could marry more than one wife. Yeah, in the Mahabharata or the old history of India, we see that Kshatriya kings especially used to marry many wives. Yes. Vasudev had 7 wives, and Dashrath Maharaj also had many wives, 3 principal queens he had. And who else? Pandavas also, they all had more than one wife. So according to Vedic civilization, there was no restriction against this. And even a man more than 50 years could marry. Even he's older than 50, still he could marry. But when he's marrying, he'll marry a young lady, right? So for the woman, it was not a pleasing situation to marry a man who's over 50 and who's already married to 3 or 4 wives before. That means his love is divided amongst other wives. She would have to share her husband with the others. So it was not a very pleasing situation for this bride. So the Lord is saying this as a punishment. If you are unwilling to give your offerings to me, then you're going to get an old husband with 4 co-wives. Next paragraph. Krishna Shish. Social structure.
The social structure allowing a man to marry more than one wife can be supported in this way. Generally, in every society, the female population is greater in number than the male population. Therefore, if it is a principle in the society that all girls should be married, unless polygamy is allowed, it will not be possible. If all the girls are not married, there is a good chance of adultery, and a society in which adultery is allowed cannot be very peaceful or pure. In our Krishna consciousness society, we have restricted illicit sex. The practical difficulty is to find a husband for each and every girl. We are therefore in favor of polygamy, provided, of course, that the husband is able to maintain more than one wife.
Yeah. So if the husband is capable of maintaining and keeping the wives satisfied, then according to Vedic tradition, it's okay for the husband to marry more than one wife. And the reason is the female population is more than the male population. Okay. And all women need to be married because women have to be protected. And if they are, either women are protected by the father, by the husband, or a grown-up son. So if the father is old and if the father has passed away and the woman is not married, then who will protect her? Then she's single. Then there is a chance what? There is certainty that there will be adultery, especially in this Kali Yuga. So where there is adultery, there cannot be peace in the society. So therefore, to solve that problem of single women, more than a man could marry more than one wife, provided he is able to actually maintain her and take care of her, provide for her. Iha shunita sabara mane hoila bhai. কোনো কিছু জানে কি বা দেবাবিষ্ট হয়।
Hearing this supposed curse by Lord Caitanya, the girls, considering that he might know something uncommon or be empowered by demigods, were afraid that his curse might be effective.
Yeah, anyone utters a curse will become scared, is it not? Anyone says, if they say something like, you're going to get cancer or you'll die or something, then you'll think, oh, maybe the curse will come true. Here Nimai is saying, but they were thinking, he's saying that we'll get an old husband. They got scared, thinking that maybe he has some mystic powers, or maybe he's empowered by some demigods. What if his curse came true? So they were afraid. Then what did they do being afraid? Aniya naivedya tara sammukhe dharila, khaiya naivedya tare ishtavara dila. Rasapriya.
The girls then brought the offerings before the Lord, who ate them all and blessed the girls to their satisfaction.
So out of fear, they came back. Those who were running, they came back and they gave their offerings to Nimai because they didn't want an old husband. They didn't want that curse. So he ate all the offerings and now he blessed them also. May all your desires be satisfied. Right? So he gave them the same benedictions to the full satisfaction of the girls. এই মাতা চাপল্য সব লোকেরে দেখায় দুঃখ কারো মনে না হে সবে সুখ পায়। Priyanka Mataji.
When this cunning behavior of the Lord with the girls became known to the people in general, it did not create misunderstandings among them. Rather, they enjoyed happiness in these dealings.
Yes, so that's the thing. We already read when he stole from the neighbors, when he fought with the boys, it's not that they actually became disturbed or anything, or they had some misunderstandings. This was a cunning behavior, right? He wanted all the food items that they brought and he ate them, and for that he would say, I'll curse you, or I will give you benediction, and he would take. But they didn't become, angry, or they didn't get any misunderstanding, but they enjoyed it. Why? Because the Lord's activities are all transcendental. There is no inebriety, there's no contamination in his dealings. They're all pure. So that's why such activities did not create any misunderstandings, neither in the girls nor in their parents or other people. They all enjoyed happiness in these dealings. एक दिन वल्लभाचार्य कन्या लक्ष्मी नाम देवता पूजिते आइलो कोरी गंगा स्नान. Prabhuji, Achintadev Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Translation. One day a girl of the name Lakshmi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, came to the bank of the Ganges to take a bath in the river and worship the demigods.
Yeah, can you read the purport?
Purport. According to the Gonadesha Deepika 45, Lakshmi was formerly Janaki, the wife of Lord Ramachandra, and Rukmini, the wife of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. The same goddess of fortune descended as Lakshmi to become the wife of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, thank you. So like this, one girl who was the daughter of Vallabhacharya, one Brahmana, she would also come to the Ganga to take bath. So one day she came there, like the other girls, right? She came to worship the demigods. So she came to the Ganga. Who is this Lakshmi? She's actually Sita Devi, the consort of Lord Ramchandra, or Rukmini Devi, the consort of Lord Krishna. That's her identity. Okay? The same goddess of fortune now descended as Lakshmi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya. Tare dekhi prabhura hoila sabhilasha mana, Lakshmi chitte prita pailo prabhura darshana. Arunita or Aditi Lata Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Seeing Lakshmi Devi, the Lord became attached to her, and Lakshmi, upon seeing the Lord, felt great satisfaction within her mind.
Yes, so they just looked at each other, right, from a distance. They just saw each other, and immediately, because She is the eternal consort of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She is the pleasure potency of the Lord, and He is her master. So that natural love is already there. So when they saw each other, that attraction immediately awakened. Seeing Lakshmi Devi, the Lord became attached to her, and Lakshmi, upon seeing the Lord, felt great satisfaction within her mind. Sahajika priti duhara korila uday, balya bhava channa tabu hoila nischay. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Their natural love for each other awakened, and although it was covered by childhood emotions, it became apparent that they were mutually attracted.
Purport.
Purport. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lakshmi Devi are eternal husband and wife. Therefore, it was quite natural for their dormant love to awaken when they saw each other. Their natural feelings were immediately awakened by their meeting.
Yes. So their natural love for each other awakened, and although it was covered by childhood emotions, they were still children, but still they're the same personalities. So it became apparent that they were mutually attracted. It was visible that they were attracted to each other. How did it happen? Because they were actually eternally consorts, right? The husband and wife. दुहा देखी दुहार चित्ते होइल उल्लास देव पूजा छले कोइलो दुहे परकाश. Chatterjee Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. They both enjoyed natural pleasure in seeing each other, and under the pretext of demigod worship, they manifested their feelings. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
thank you, Hare Krishna. So she is worshipping the demigods, right? Under the pretext of demigod worship, they actually manifested their natural feelings. So she would go there on the pretext of worshipping the demigods, but she was actually attracted to the Lord, and he was also attracted to her. So, under the pretext of demigod worship, they manifested their feelings for each other. So, we can stop here. Thank you all very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.